This is NDTV. And you're watching NDTV Hindu.
Good evening and welcome to Headlines Now on NDTV Hindu. Sometimes our world is called a man's world, but how far is it true when it comes to the corporate world? Joining me on the show tonight are four women who are eminent in their respective posts. I'm joined by Ms. Kala Balasubramanian, who is from the HP company, as well as Ms. Vijay Lakshmi Rao and Ms. Rajni Reddy, who are at top positions in their respective companies. I'm also joined by Ms. Wahida, who is a co-convener with the All India Working Women's Forum. She's a trade unionist, as she calls herself. We are going to be talking about whether it really is a man's world or whether it is a tough climb up the ladder when it comes to the corporate world, and whether it is in fact a difficult journey for a woman and being a woman in this corporate world. We'll get you that special discussion in a few seconds from now. Before that, a quick look at what's making headlines this hour. The Madras High Court issues a notice to IPL4 organisers and the TNCA for non-levy of entertainment tax.
Percent of the collections tax should be recovered from the IPL match conducting authority.
A huge catch of butter and cheese that's well beyond its date of expiry is seized by the Revenue Intelligence. Most were meant for our star hotels in the city. The accused MBA criminals in the kidnapping case of teenager Kirti Vasan get a breather after the Madras High Court grants them bail. The Chief Minister wants status quo on the engineering admission qualifying marks for the backward classes and SC/STs. Day 8 of the Air India pilot strike and no one has blinked yet. 16 flights from and 15 flights to Chennai stand cancelled. Are women denied opportunity to grow and helm top posts in the IT industry today? A conservative mindset.
Others in the family and the society, in-laws, father, husband, everybody has to support her, said that she is a normal human being like any other.
Jayam Ravi takes cue from the dance sensation of India, Prabhudeva, in his latest romantic flick, Engeyum Kadal.
It's a totally different film which you can really watch with your family and kids.
And Chennai Super Kings taste sweet victory at home grounds tonight. Hasi and Raina pile up over 100 runs. CSK is now number 3. Before we get you all of those stories in detail, a quick scan of what's making news in the rest of the country. 5 days after his chopper went missing, Arunachal Pradesh's Chief Minister's body is found near the China border. The family of the pilot of the ill-fated chopper that crashed in Arunachal is inconsolable. Former Commonwealth boss Suresh Kalmari joins the list of bigwigs in Tihar jail. CBI says he's not cooperating. After Anna Hazare, yoga guru Baba Ramdev is the next to take up a fast against corruption. The White House says there are no apologies for the Kill Osama operation. They reject Pakistan's claim that the ISI gave intelligence inputs. Pakistan's Prime Minister denies the Osama operation has dented relationship with US, also says it's not an intelligence failure. The information technology sector, or the IT sector as we know it, is one of the major drivers of the Indian economy. But in today's scenario, it seems to throw up quite a unique challenge for the women folk across the length and breadth of our country, since very few really make it to the top and stay there. So what's stopping them, or do social preconceptions restrict them from making it big in this vast industry? My colleague Krishnamurthy takes a look at how experts in the field perceive women and their growth parameters.
Women may be natural leaders, but in the crucial IT and information technology enabled services, where women make up nearly 30% of the workforce, less than 1% emerge as leaders. Do you wonder why?
From the societal side of it, there is still in the mind of people that this is what men should do and this is what women should do. That gets carried into the workplace also.
Experts say that there is almost an equal representation of men and women at the grassroots level in the IT sector, but the numbers shrink at the top of the ladder. So what should women do to succeed and not allow family to come in the way of professional growth?
Women have to think that she has to be a woman of substance. She has to be doing something of her own. She should live for herself while caring for the family. She alone is not the only cause for maintaining the family. She has to pull up all the other people and others in the family and the society, in-laws, father, husband. Everybody has to support her, said that she is a normal human being like any other, not a second citizen of the country or of the globe.
Experts call for a change in mindset among IT women, since they themselves seem to be bogged down by stereotypes.
Women think that to be a leader, you have to be dynamic and you have to be, assertive, you have to go and get it done. Men seem to think that, she'll get married, she'll leave, she'll move. Should we invest in her? I think we should stop thinking about all those things.
Very few dispute that women are better managers compared to men. With the likes of Chanda Kochar, Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw and Ritu Kumar standing testimony to women empowerment, industry wallas feel that IT has all the ingredients to make women excel. In Chennai, with Krishnamurthy, this is Sindhuja for NDTV Hindu.
Well, tonight on the show, there's certainly women power. Let me introduce my guest tonight once again. I'm joined by Ms. Kala Balasundaram, who is a manager with HP. Also joining me on the show tonight is Vijay Lakshmi Rao and VP Rajni Reddy, who are in the top positions in their respective companies. Also joining us is Ms. Wahida, who is a trade unionist, and she's also the co-convener with the All India Working Women's Forum. Before we come to you, Ms. Wahida, let me just start with you. Ms. Kala, is it really true that it is a man's world and it's a difficult journey up the ladder?
Well, it is no more the case in terms of when you're at a junior level, at the entry level. It is true, like as you said, it's at a junior level, it's almost, I would say, 50-50%, because when it comes to hiring, and equal importance is given to hiring women as against the men. But it is true that as we grow up the career, at the top level, the percentage, I would say, it's anywhere between 7 to 8% as against men.
Wow.
Yes.
That's a huge gap.
Yes, so there is a huge gap out there, and that is the one that we need to be addressing.
Right, but haven't we changed? I mean, in terms of times, in terms of mindsets, long gone now. Those traditional mindsets. I thought, when they were just men who were the breadwinners. But today we have fathers who are willing to, take their children out for tuitions, or maybe even, putting them to sleep, or even cooking dinner sometimes. So hasn't it changed over the past couple of years?
Well, I think personally, I believe that things have changed. In fact, that's reflected in the increasing percentage share of women in the IT/ITES industry. But the issue of sustainability remains, which means that as women move up the corporate ladder, there are challenges that they face.
Staying there is a challenge.
And staying on becomes a challenge. And this could be due to various reasons, many of which have not changed over the years. It could be societal.
Like what?
It could be societal, family reasons. For instance, a girl gets married, she relocates, or she goes into maternity and she doesn't have adequate support systems at home to take care of her young child. There are no creche facilities available at office. And further down the line, as she moves up, she could face challenges in terms of reskilling herself, keeping herself updated with the technology developments that are happening, and that's so relevant in the IT industry. And finally, also in terms of networking, keeping in touch with her industry peers, which she's not able to do well enough thanks to all the work-life balance issues that she's probably facing.
Right, most often inevitable sometimes, right?
Exactly.
All right, Ms. Wahida, I just want to come to you. You've been working and in fact even hearing out many such opinions maybe from different working women across the country. Is it the same when you compare, a situation of a woman who's working in a big industry like an IT industry here in India to that of maybe, say, the West or even European nations?
Yes. First of all, I would say that for women workers, the problem is universal. It is the same everywhere, particularly with regard to this IT industry. The job, the character of the job, nature of the job and the newness of the job has put plenty of stress and pressure on the women. And so far I have heard all the people from the IT industry talking about as to why women do not excel to the top. We are talking only in terms of the woman changing herself and also the support system from the family. But I would insist that there is no support system from the government. There are labor legislations are not implemented here, and the women workplace is not prepared for the women, particularly with regard to IT sector. The employers are given a tacit approval of non-compliance of the labor legislations with regard to women. In the absence of all these things, and in the character of the women, the traditional role that they have to maintain with regard to the social norms and maintaining the structured relationships, it becomes very difficult for the women to balance at both the levels. It is not as if that they cannot excel. I heard that at the entry level it is the same, but even at the entry level we see 30% of women alone are there. It is not 50% women, 30% of women alone are there. Even at the entry level, women are not that much preferred, in spite of the fact that they come in a big way to the higher echelons of the industry. Women are not made at all to the top. It is essentially because of the fact that the support system that should have been installed by the government, but through the labor legislations, is absolutely absent for women there.
Right. So, you are saying basically that the government has a crucial role, but apart from that, as a company itself, you are the managing director, Ms. Rajni Reddy, of a company yourself. Does the organization take efforts to perhaps sit down their women employees and ask them if they are faced with problems, and to make sure that there is no obstruction of any sort or any roadblocks in their growth up the ladder?
Yes, absolutely. We have a strong support system, and we have people, we invite people from outside to come and educate the people, and also we have role models who come and talk to the women in the organization to showcase that, you know, they have made it in spite of whatever challenges they have faced. So that gives a lot of motivation to the employees that they too can make it to the top. And we have a lot of women-friendly policies, work from home options, as well as women, you know, after the maternity leave or they take a long break, we have part-time working options as well. So we provide various policies and options for the women to continue working.
Okay, just to make this discussion fair, let me just find out from you what the men folk in your company have to say. Do they face a threat from the women folk in any way, or some sort of competition maybe? What do they have to say?
Well, I mean, coming from an organization like HP, because I've never seen that difference, because if you're in a meeting room with 10 other men and they just don't feel the difference, nor do we feel the difference. And that is the way it is. I think of that the trend that, you know, where women cannot express and women cannot actually put across their thoughts, I don't think it exists anymore at all, because a man, maybe a male manager, when he talks to a woman counterpart, he just expects the same thing, and, you know, he speaks the same way as he would speak to any other peer. So I think that this differentiation is no more existent, and I think as Rajni just pointed out, the policies and the diversity factor is given so much importance in organizations these days. In fact, in my organization HP, there is always a policy that's coming out for women, be it security, be it flexibility, that's like working from home, and wellness for women, you know, mothers to be, and things like that. For everything is being taken care of. So,
but we're still living in, you know, in a place like Tamil Nadu, which is considered conservative. You know, as much as she says that it doesn't prevail, Ms. Vijay Lakshmi, is there a sense among the women folk of today, because they kept on, you know, being told that, you know, you cannot do this, you are not maybe capable of doing this, and you're not expected to go up so much, you cannot maybe take the pressure. Is there some kind of a sense then that, you know, finally descends upon a woman that maybe, you know, I really maybe can't take this amount of pressure, maybe I should stop somewhere, shouldn't give it my full shot maybe sometime?
No, I think there's a mindset issue here. As Kala said, you know, the IT industry today, I would agree, is very, very gender neutral. In fact, this is an industry we are proud to say in India does not have glass ceilings so far as women are concerned. So to that extent, we are treated equally. In fact, most companies in this sector are equal opportunity employers. So I think a lot depends on how a woman perceives her own role in the company vis-a-vis the role that she's playing perhaps at home. It is all right for men to actually impose their expectations on women, but then I think a lot depends on how women themselves perceive their own role and address those challenges themselves. It could be in terms of making the right choices, in terms of being more focused, in terms of empowering themselves. In fact, we are associated with an organization called Empowering Women in IT, which is a not-for-profit voluntary organization, and we interact with so many women, and we find that a lot depends on how women carry this whole challenge forward.
And you standing up for each other also kind of helps in an organization like that, doesn't it?
Definitely. There could be role models, there could be women network groups. In fact, gender inclusivity has come of age, and a lot of companies are implementing a number of programs. The only issue to keep in mind here is that there could be some amount of sensitization involved so far as men are concerned, so that we don't want men to think that we are not implementing gender neutral policies, but that women are being pampered. No. And I don't think we women are really asking for that. We're not asking for concessions, we're not asking for quota. What we're asking for is that organizations just do that little extra bit so that women can give their best, considering the kind of challenges that they have on the home front.
All right. Ms. Wahida, if all is well, why are we really talking about this in the first place? Why are conferences and lectures being held about women in IT companies? Is there a crisis, or are we just maybe making sure that all is really well when it comes to even the ground level?
Yes, it is only that feeling that to convince oneself and say all is really well, because it outwardly appears to be so with regard to the IT industry. I was just listening to I think Ms. Rajani, who was saying that all these support systems are installed in the organization and things like that. I would only ask, things are not all right, all is not so well as we talk about, and if all is well, as you say, there need not be any conferences or any discussions about it at all. Why aren't we talking in terms of the government ensuring the atmosphere that is there with the labor legislations that are available in the IT Act itself? Even the IT Act is bound by the Industrial Dispute Act's provision that there has to be the factory inspector visiting the workplace to ensure that all the facilities that should be put in place for women workers should be there before the women workers are asked to come in the night shift. That is not there in the IT industry. That is one. Another one thing, the stress that the women go through, the occupational health hazards that the IT industry poses to women, particularly it is so peculiar to the IT industry for women, and in India we have not come to terms with it so far, because it is so much in the infantile stage as compared to the developed countries. Even here we face the psychotrauma that women particularly go through in the IT industry. All these things are discussed in the conferences, all these things are spoken about in the media, focused in all the conferences, yet we still say all is well and try to go on, means that we are completely neglecting a very big crisis that may be forthcoming in the near future. Right. So we will have to think in terms of what is assured in the labor legislations for women. We will have to concentrate on that, start asking for it. Even the organizations that are available within the sector, they should think in terms, say for instance, maternity benefit. I do not know how many IT sectors offer the maternity benefit to the women workers there.
So it really differs from company to company is what you're saying, but we need to make a conscious effort that these are benefits that we are entitled to, is what you're saying, right? I think that punchline from Three Idiots has really done wonders, at least for this discussion. Let me just draw final comments from both of you, from all of you in fact. Ms. Kala, starting from you, if there is a problem, when can change really take place and what needs to be the change?
See, apart from the, while I agree with whatever she was saying, apart from the constraints that we have on the familial and the social social constraints. I think most of this, I would say, is self-imposed about a woman. You know, it comes at various stages. Normally, when a baby is born, she wants to be with the newborn, and then when the child is in this 10th standard, they want to spend the time. It's more out of the guilt factor because it comes with a, you know, it's a social.
It's there with a woman,
it's a
with
tradition.
a mother, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it is more out of a guilt factor, and that is when she takes a break. And these are, I would say, more of self-imposed thought process, while the organizations, be it mid-size, small or huge companies, they are doing their bit. I think it also needs to come with every individual, and I think it would address problem.
Final thoughts from you, ma'am.
I would think communication is the key, because I think a lot of gender inclusivity initiatives, or even some of the legislations and rights of women, which Wahida was rightly talking about, I think many of these need to be communicated down the line. In fact, we have found through our research studies that companies do have formal systems, but many a time it's not communicated, and women themselves don't know what they're entitled to. And I think that kind of dissemination of information, networking amongst women, learning, making sure that they learn from each other and knowledge share, I think that holds the key to how we will go forward.
Okay, one last comment from you and we'll wrap it at that.
I would not really agree with Ms. Vanitha.
Why not?
Because I don't think the government, you should look at the government to make the policies for this. If every company can focus on their own company and bring about a growth for all women employees, give them equal opportunities, I don't think we should rely on anything external for them to come and help the women folk.
There is enough opportunity at home, at your own company.
Opportunity in the companies, and definitely all companies require women as well as men in the organizations. So we need to do our bit to give them equal opportunities for growth, as well as in rural areas, include more of rural women, give them the right training opportunities, give them the right technology opportunities where they can improve their own skill.
Especially since they come from a very different background.
Different background, right? Exactly. So that's what we do at Exemplar. We have we focus on rural employment generation, and we have training facilities where we train them right from soft skills as well as technical skills. And then we ensure that they really grow and focus on their own self-development as well.
Yeah, grow and stay up there is the key word, right? Thanks very much indeed, ladies, for joining me on the show tonight. I think we've touched almost most areas of this topic, and I think that there is great meaning in that little but small phrase which says, I am what I am, which is, I think, maybe a key line for a woman, because that doesn't really stop, and nothing, maybe physical or any other constraints, doesn't really stop her from going up the ladder, and everybody needs to understand just that, right? Thanks very much indeed, Ms. Kala, Ms. Vijay Lakshmi, and Ms. Rajni as well, and Ms. Wahida as well, for giving us your point of view as well on this very important discussion. We'll slip into a very short break on Headlines now, but we'll be back with more news and updates right here.